Hi, everyone. Some time ago, I showed you Korea's crazy official historical view. For your information, let's review it. In ancient times, the Korean had one of the most highly developed civilization in the world. In contrast, the Japanese were terribly ignorant barbarians. They didn't know agriculture, didn't have houses, and even didn't wear clothes. One day, a batch of Koreans came to Japan and ruled and educated the Japanese. Then, the Japanese worshipped the Koreans as gods and built up their first ancient state under the lead of the Koreans.
And then, the Korean continued teaching their advanced cultures and technologies to the Japanese barbarians from ancient times to early modern period. So, it's not too much to say that all Japanese cultures originated in Korea. If there were not the Korean, the Japanese would still remain barbarians.
And this time, I'm going to knock down that terrible bullshit. But, before that, I have information I want you to know. That is, in the world, only Korea has such a crazy historical view. And, as for historical view about ancient Asia, there are not noticeable disagreements between Japan and China. In other words, China and Japan corroborate each other's historical view about ancient Asia. But Korea's historical view on ancient Asia is widely different from China's, Japan's and world's. So, I think, these facts have already knocked down the Korean bullshit enough. But anyway, for your information, I'll show you some of the crucial counter-evidences against Korea's historical view. Then, first, let's see one of descriptions related to Japan from Gwanggaeto stele. Gwanggaeto stele was erected to praise accomplishments of Gwanggaeto in the 5th century. Gwanggaeto was a king of Goguryeo, and Goguryeo was a country of ranches. By the way, in English translation, I changed proper nouns into general nouns as much as possible, because proper nouns of kanji have rather different pronunciations depending on countries. So, let's take a look at the stele. Originally, Shilla and Pakshe were subject states of Goguryeo, and they paid tribute to Goguryeo. But in 391 AD, Japan came across the sea and beat Pakshe and Shilla and made them subject states of Japan. Next, from the Book of Sui, the Chinese history book, which was compiled in the 7th century. Both Shilla and Pakshe regarded Japan as the great nation, which had many exceptional things. Additionally, the both nations worshipped Japan, and their messengers visited it constantly. Wow, it says the opposite to what Korea's textbooks say. Then, next, let's see the sentences related to Japan from Samguk Sagi. Samguk Sagi is a Korean history book written in the 12th century, the oldest history book in Korea. In 14 AD, the Japanese invaded Shilla's coast with about 100 battleships. In 73 AD, the Japanese invaded a certain island, then the king of Shilla dispatched a commander, but he lost and died. In 121 AD, the Japanese attacked East Frontier area. In 249 AD, the Japanese besieged Gyeongju, and a prince of Shilla was killed. Incidents of Japanese invasions, including above-mentioned things, appear about 30 times in the book. And except invasion events, there are also the following descriptions related to Japan. In 295 AD, the Shilla king said, "We are being bothered by frequent Japanese invasions. Let's attack Japan in alliance with Pakshe." But his close advisor said, "We are not used to see fights, and Pakshe is deceitful. Stop it, please." Hearing that, the king relinquished the plan. In 345 AD, the Japanese king rejected establishment of diplomatic relations with Shilla by letter. In 397 AD, the king of Pakshe sent his son to Japan as a hostage. In 402 AD, Shilla sent its prince to Japan as a hostage. As described above, even Korean history books show that the ancient Korean peninsula was being exposed to Japanese military threat. Nevertheless, according to the Korean official historical view, the Japanese were cavemen in those days. What strange cavemen? Cavemen have 100 battleships and write a letter? Well, that concludes the part 1 of this issue. The part 2 is going to be uploaded at a later date. Thank you for your watching.